Hello friends, welcome to my channel, and in this video session we are going to discuss about the anatomy of the extrahepatic biliary apparatus. So let us see the different components of the extrahepatic biliary apparatus: common hepatic duct, gallbladder, cystic duct, common bile duct, and sphincter of Oddi. So you can say the four major components of the extrahepatic biliary apparatus are common hepatic duct, which is formed by the union of right and left hepatic ducts; gallbladder, pear-shaped hollow viscous, which concentrates the bile; cystic duct, which carry the contents of the gallbladder and join with the hepatic duct to form common bile duct. So when you observe here, you are noticing the entire extrahepatic biliary tree here. You are seeing the right and left hepatic ducts together joining and forming common hepatic duct. This is a cystic duct draining the gallbladder. Cystic duct joins with the common hepatic duct to form common bile duct. So this is the entire extrahepatic biliary tree with its individual components. And when you observe the extrahepatic biliary tree, you can see once you take out the skin, and most of the extrahepatic biliary apparatus is under cover the liver, duodenum, lesser omentum, and head of the pancreas. So these are the four major anterior relations you will see, and you can see their gallbladder, and gallbladder is related to the ninth costal cartilage and also to the anteabdominal wall. And once you observe here, you are seeing the entire the hierarchy of the extrahepatic biliary apparatus here. You are seeing the right hepatic duct, left hepatic duct. This is the common hepatic duct, cystic duct, and this is common bile duct. And you can notice the pear-shaped gallbladder, the hollow viscous which concentrates the bile, which is produced by the liver and released during the digestion of the fat by the action of the hormone called cholecystokinin. So you can see the this extrahepatic biliary tree here. You can notice this is the common bile duct. You can notice how this pear-shaped hollow viscous is there. You are seeing right and left hepatic duct, common hepatic duct, cystic duct, common bile duct. So these are the different components. You can see common hepatic duct, cystic duct. This is common bile duct, and here you can see the right hepatic duct and left hepatic duct. This is the gall bladder. So these are the different components of the extrahepatic biliary apparatus. So as you see here, when you see the inferior surface of the liver near the porta hepatis which we have discussed in the previous video regarding the anatomy of the liver, the porta hepatis has the different contents there. Here you are seeing this is the common hepatic duct. What you're noticing there, what is the arrangement of the structure of the porta hepatis? Duct, artery, and vein. You are seeing this is the common hepatic duct. Cystic duct is here, common bile duct is here, and you are noticing the hepatic artery and also the portal vein dividing into right and left branches. So these are the contents you are seeing at the porta hepatis. And once you take out the other contents, focusing mainly on the hepatic ducts, you are noticing the right and left hepatic ducts together they form common hepatic duct, and to the right you are seeing cystic duct here, they form common bile duct. So this is what you are noticing here, that is the common hepatic duct. You are seeing the porta hepatis from the inferior surface, or you can say postero-inferior view. That entire thing is common hepatic duct, and once you just separate there, you can notice, yes, this is the cystic duct, and this is the S-shaped neck of the gallbladder, and this is common bile duct here. So these are the different components there. The common bile duct is there. So the common hepatic duct, cystic duct, common bile duct, and gallbladder. These are the different components. When you see the gallbladder, it is the hollow viscous organ, slaty blue in color. Usually in cadaver it is bile stained. You can notice there it is related to the undersurface of the liver, related to the non-peritoneal fossa for the gallbladder on the inferior surface of the liver, just to the right of the quadrate lobe, and it has the different parts. You can see this is the fundus part, body and neck. It has different parts and related to the non-peritoneal inferior surface of the liver. So these are the different components. Let us see them in a specific way. First, let us begin with the common hepatic duct, which is formed near the right end of porta hepatis, that you have already seen in the specimen by union of right and left hepatic ducts. It passes downwards within the free margin of the lesser omentum along with hepatic artery and portal vein. It measures around 3 cm in length and 4 mm in caliber. And once you notice there, the relations, anteriorly it is related to the under surface of the liver, and posteriorly portal vein. Anteriorly and to the right cystic duct is there, and to the left hepatic artery. So anteriorly it is related to the liver, the under surface of the liver, whereas posteriorly it is related to the portal vein that you can see, and to the right it is related to the cystic duct, and to the left it is related to the hepatic artery. So these are the relations of the common hepatic duct. You can see anteriorly under surface of liver, and posteriorly portal vein, to the anterior and to the right cystic duct which drains the gallbladder, and anterior to the left hepatic artery. Next, coming to the gallbladder, it is a pear-shaped hollow viscous slate blue in color, located obliquely on the visceral surface of the liver, related to the inferior surface of the liver, which is non-peritoneal, and it extends from the inferior border to the right end of porta hepatis. It extends beyond the inferior border also. You can see there part of the gallbladder extending beyond the inferior border of the liver. This is the fundus part. You're noticing here it is related, located obliquely. It is located obliquely here to the right of the quadrate lobe, and to the left to the renal impression and colic impression. And you can see it extends from the inferior border of the liver to the right end of porta hepatis, and it measures around 7 to 10 centimeter in length and 3 centimeter in the breadth, and has a capacity of 30 to 50 ml. And it presents three parts from below upwards, that is fundus, body and neck. You can notice here the three parts: fundus, body and neck. Once you notice here, this much part is fundus, body and neck. Neck will continue with the cystic duct, which will join the common hepatic duct. Coming to the fundus of the gallbladder, it is the lower expanded part which projects beyond the inferior border of the liver, directed downwards, forwards and to the right. It makes an angle of 30 degrees with the anterabdominal wall, and is completely covered by the peritoneum. So this part of the gallbladder, that is fundus, what you can see, and it is closely related to the right ninth costal cartilage and anterabdominal wall. That's why in case of acute cholecystitis, there is sharp pain in the right hypochondrium during the inspiration. And that is the fundus, body and neck, what you are noticing there, directed downwards, forwards and to the right. And relations, anteriorly it is related to the anterabdominal wall just below tip of the right ninth costal cartilage, at the intersection of the right rectus abdominis and right costal cartilage. Posteriorly it is related to transverse colon, that because it is related to the inferior surface of the liver, transverse colon comes into contact there. And you can see, coming to the body, it extends from the fundus to the neck. So this much is the body. It is also directed obliquely upwards, forwards and to the left. Anterior surface is non-peritoneal because it is related to the fossa of the gallbladder, one of the non-peritoneal impressions of the liver. Only posterior surface and lateral surface is covered by the peritoneum, whereas fundus is entirely covered by peritoneum. Body only posterior surface and lateral sides. Anterior surface directly related to the visceral surface of the liver. You can notice there the three parts. And anteriorly under surface of the liver, separated by the loose connective tissue. Sometimes it may contain hepatic artery. Posteriorly, the superior duodenal flexure. The superior duodenal flexure, the junction between the first part and second part here. The superior duodenal flexure. Right side, right colic flexure, which goes here. Transverse colon runs end point of the second part. Right colic flexure is there. And to the left, you will notice the pylorus of the stomach. So, posteriorly superior duodenal flexure, to the right, to the left pylorus, to the right colic flexure. So anteriorly the undersurface of the liver. So these are the relations of the body of the gallbladder. Neck of the gallbladder, it forms a S-shaped curve, extends from body to cystic duct, passes upwards and forwards, then abruptly downwards and backwards. So upwards and forwards, then downwards and backwards, continues with the cystic duct, separated by a constriction. Then coming to the functions of the gallbladder, what is the function of gallbladder? Why it is important? It is important because it stores and concentrates the bile 10 times more than the liver, reduces the alkalinity of the hepatic bile, equalizes the biliary duct pressure. So the concentration of the bile is done by removing the water, whichever it is synthesized by the liver. So that's why gallbladder has more lymphatics and mucosal folds for more absorption of the water to concentrate the bile. Then coming to the blood supply of the gallbladder, it is supplied by the cystic artery here, that you can notice. Cystic artery branch of the, it is derived from the right branch of the hepatic artery and drained by cystic vein, which joins the right branch of the portal vein. Lymph drains into hepatic lymph nodes. Nerve supplies by the celiac and hepatic plexus. And coming to the different anomalies of the gallbladder, sometimes there will be urgency of the gallbladder, duplicate gallbladder, intrahepatic gallbladder, or floating gallbladder. In case of floating gallbladder, it is not related to the surface of the liver. It will be suspended by a fold. So you can notice here, this is the floating gallbladder. Here it is suspended by a mesenteric fold, and this is the duplicate. This is the separate gallbladder. This is the duplicate gallbladder, and these are all other anomalies related to the gallbladder. Then coming to the next component of the extrahepatic biliary apparatus, that is cystic duct. It extends from the neck, runs downwards and backwards to the left to join with the common hepatic duct. It joins the hepatic duct at an acute angle, that you can notice here. You already seen a specimen. It forms an acute angle here between the cystic duct and the hepatic duct. Measures from 3 to 4 centimeter in length and 2 millimeter in caliber. And the interior of the neck shows these spiral crescentic walls, that is called as spiral walls of Hester. Then coming to the relations, anteriorly under surface of liver, posteriorly portal vein, to the left the common hepatic duct, to which it joins, to the right body of the gall bladder. And above you can see cystic artery. Cystic artery is very important because during the surgical remove of the gallbladder, we have to ligate the cystic artery. So it is in close relation with the cystic duct. And coming to the common bile duct, it measures around 7 centimeter in length, 6 millimeter in diameter. It is formed by joining of cystic duct with the right side of the common hepatic duct at an acute angle, that we already discussed. After the formation, it runs downwards and backwards to the left in the free margin of the lesser omentum anterior to the epiploic foramina. Then it descends behind the first part of the duodenum and head of the pancreas. You can notice the entire course here. Common bile duct runs downwards and backwards towards left, running in the free margin of the lesser omentum above the duodenum. Then it goes behind the first part of the duodenum, then behind the head of the pancreas. Its course is similar to the course of the portal vein. So the course of the common bile duct can be divided into three parts. And in the posterior medial of the second part of the duodenum, the bile duct joins with the main pancreatic duct here. The bile duct joins with the main pancreatic duct. Both pierce the duodenal wall separately and unite before termination to form a common ampulla, common dilatation known as ampulla of Vater. Coming to the relations of the bile duct here, it is divided into supraduodenal, retroduodenal, and infraduodenal parts, and also intraduodenal, how it enters into the second part of the duodenum. And coming to supraduodenal part, as you can notice here, posteriorly you are seeing the portal vein, left side hepatic artery. So these are the two contents what you see in the supraduodenal part, posteriorly portal vein, and anteriorly into the left hepatic artery that is related to the common bile duct. Retroduodenal part, again same, anteriorly what you see the first part of the duodenum, posteriorly you will see the portal vein, and to the right side you will see gastroduodenal artery. So first part of the duodenum anteriorly, portal vein posteriorly, and gastroduodenal artery on to the left side. And coming to the infraduodenal part, anteriorly head of the pancreas, you will notice the head of the pancreas here, that is the anterior relation. And you can see the posteriorly the inferior vena cava, left side supramesenteric vein. So anteriorly what you see, you will see the head of the pancreas, and posteriorly you will see the big vein, that is the inferior vena cava, and to the left side you will see superior mesenteric vein, and to the right side you can say it is the second part of the duodenum. So these are the relations of the infraduodenal part. Coming to intraduodenal part, its course is represented by the plica longitudinalis in the interior of the second part of duodenum, and you can notice here the parts of the common bile duct. You can see there, you can see all the relations. Let us see the relations of the all the individual components of the extrahepatic biliary apparatus. So you are seeing the inferior surface view here. If you just pull it here, you can notice the liver, and most of the extrahepatic biliary apparatus lies beneath the liver. And once you isolate the relations and components of the extrahepatic biliary apparatus, you can notice there you are seeing that is the gallbladder, and that is the common bile duct. You can see the lesser margin of lesser omentum there, how it is extending there, the right free margin of the lesser omentum, the right free margin here of the lesser omentum. You can see that is the common bile duct what you are seeing. Just above that you are seeing the common hepatic duct, that is the common hepatic duct. You can notice from here, that is the common hepatic duct. You can notice posteriorly it has the portal vein, and anterior to the antesurface of the liver, and to the right you are seeing the hepatic artery there, and sorry, to the left hepatic artery, that is common hepatic duct. Again, if you notice here, that is the common hepatic duct. You are seeing it lies anterior to the portal vein here, the hepatic artery to the left, cystic duct to the right, and anteriorly the undersurface of the liver. So those are the relations of the common hepatic duct what you are observing in this animation here. So you can notice there. So here is the inferior vena cava, that is portal vein, and as you come down, now coming to the gallbladder, what are the relations of the gallbladder? You can see the different parts of the gallbladder, how they are related there. You can see cystic artery and cystic vein, that is cystic duct. that is a cystic duct, going to join with the common hepatic duct to form common bile duct. That is noticing. You see, you are seeing how they all are located in the right free margin of the lesser omentum. So coming to the gallbladder, what are the three parts? The fundus, body and neck. The fundus anteriorly related to the anterior abdominal wall, posteriorly to the superior duodenal flexure, and body anteriorly related to the undersurface of the liver, to the right colic flexure, to the left pylorus of the stomach. And you can notice here the pylorus of the stomach is here. To the you can notice the right colic flexure, which will go in front of the second part of the duodenum, and you can see how it is supported by the cystic artery, which is derived from the right branch of hepatic artery. Now coming to the common bile duct, you can notice that is the common bile duct. That is the common bile duct to the right of the hepatic artery, and you can notice how this duodenum divides the course into supraduodenal, retroduodenal, and infraduodenal parts. So the first part of the duodenum divides the course, this course of the common bile duct into three parts. That is the supraduodenal part. You can notice posteriorly you can see portal vein, and to the right you have hepatic artery, and retroduodenal. You can notice retroduodenal anteriorly of first part of the duodenum, posteriorly epiploic foramina, and to the right gastroduodenal artery. So the portal vein and epiploic foramina are lying posterior to common bile duct. You can notice there. So posteriorly portal vein, and anteriorly the first part of duodenum, and to the left you have gastroduodenal artery. Once you take out the lesser omentum, the fold of lesser omentum, you can notice there supraduodenal part, that is the posteriorly portal vein, and to the right hepatic artery. And once you see the retroduodenal part, anteriorly you are going to see the first part of the duodenum here, posteriorly the portal vein, and to the left gastroduodenal artery, branch of the common hepatic artery, that is the gastroduodenal, that is lying left to the common bile duct, retroduodenal part. And as you go below the first part of the duodenum, you are going to see the infraduodenal part related anteriorly to the head of the pancreas. You can see that this is the infraduodenal part of the common bile duct. It enters behind the head of the pancreas and joins with the main pancreatic duct. They both enter separately and join and form a dilatation before opening, that is ampulla of Vater. So what are the relations here? Anteriorly the head of the pancreas, to the posterior side you have inferior vena cava, and superior this portal vein, and to the left superior mesenteric vein, to the right second part of duodenum. So these are the relations of the infraduodenal part of the common bile duct. As you can notice here in this specimen, left lobe of the liver is removed, the transverse colon, greater omentum, and transverse mesocolon is removed. Here you are noticing the gallbladder, that is the gallbladder, and you can see the C-shaped duodenum here. This is the C-shaped duodenum, and here will be the lesser omentum. There is a lesser omentum between the liver, stomach, and duodenum, and all these contents lie in the hepatoduodenal part. The hepatoduodenal part will be here, and here you will see the epiploic foramina, that is hepatoduodenal ligament. And once you zoom through the right free margin, that is the common bile duct. What you are noticing, within the right free margin of the lesser omentum. This is the epiploic foramina. Behind this there will be lesser sac. So epiploic foramen is also called as adductus to lesser sac. And as you zoom there, you can see that is the common bile duct. And to the left you have hepatic artery. Behind you have portal vein. And how it is running there. This is the supraduodenal part, then retroduodenal part, then infraduodenal part. It is running like this here, the common bile duct. And if you dislodge the second part of the duodenum towards the left side, you can see the entire course of the, this is cystic duct here, common hepatic duct, this is the common bile duct. Gallbladder is here, and this is the inferior vena cava, and here you will see the hepatic artery, and behind that big portal vein. So this is how the common bile duct runs, and you can divide the course into the three parts: supraduodenal, retroduodenal, and infraduodenal. By the first part of the duodenum, so that is the head of the pancreas. And if you see the interior of the second part of the duodenum, you will notice the opening here of both common bile duct and main pancreatic duct. That is the common bile duct, that is the main pancreatic duct, and just above there you can see that is accessory pancreatic duct. So accessory pancreatic duct opens at the minor duodenal papilla, and both common bile duct and main pancreatic duct enter separately into the wall of the second part of the duodenum, and you can see here it is, and this is plica longitudinalis, and here is the opening of the common hepatopancreatic. Coming to the blood supply of the bile duct, the bile duct has the three parts. That is, the supraduodenal part is by the cystic artery, branch of the right branch of the hepatic artery. Middle part is by the hepatic artery itself, and lower part is by the posterior superior pancreatoduodenal artery, which is the branch of gastroduodenal artery. And coming to the clinically significant Callat's triangle. Callat's triangle is also called as cystohepatic triangle. It is small anatomical space in the extrahepatic biliary apparatus in the abdomen. It is located near the porta hepatis of the liver, and you can notice here is the Callat's triangle formed between the undersurface of the liver, common hepatic duct, and cystic duct. So boundaries: medially common hepatic duct, inferiorly cystic duct, and superiorly inferior surface of the liver. Contents are right hepatic artery formed by the bifurcation of the proper hepatic artery. Cystic artery is giving the blood supply to the gallbladder. It arises from the right hepatic artery. And lymph node of Lund, the first lymph node to drain the gallbladder, and lymphatics. The clinical significance, why it is important here, because during laparoscopic cholecystectomy procedure, the triangle is carefully located by identifying the cystic duct and common hepatic duct, and search for any anatomical variation. And this cystohepatic triangle or Callat's triangle is used for the safe ligation and division of cystic duct and cystic artery. The particular importance content here is the right hepatic artery. This should be and must be identified by the surgeon prior to the ligation of cystic artery. And if Callat's triangle cannot be separated or dissected or found out, the surgeon may go for subtotal cholecystectomy or go for open surgery. Coming to the different variations here, you can see the cystic duct variation. It is going behind and joining to the left side of the common hepatic duct, and sometimes there will be a diverticulum called as Hartmann's pouch. Sometimes the gallbladder directly opens into the hepatic duct. You can see here the variation in the formation. The cystic duct and common hepatic duct, they do join, and here, and it may go to the right hepatic duct. It may go in front and join to the left side. Sometimes join directly without cystic duct. So these are the different anomalies in the formation of the bile duct. And variations in the termination, as I already told you, it joins with the main pancreatic duct. Sometimes they form before and then open, and sometimes they form very close to the second part of duodenum. Sometimes they open separately into the second part of the duodenum. And coming to the sphincter of OD here, you can see the bile duct has its own sphincter that is called as sphincter choledacus and sphincter pancreaticus. Surrounding both is the sphincter of OD. That is very important. So common bile duct may cause acute pancreatitis because they have common opening in the second part of the duodenum. Coming to the acute cholecystitis, what it is? The person will come with the sharp pain, nausea, bloating, fat indigestion, and sometimes due to gallstones, it may obstruct the lumen of the cystic duct, increasing the intraluminal pressure and causing the inflammatory response. And these are some signs and symptoms. The patient will have a typical pain in the right upper quadrant here, Murphy's sign, that is a sharp pain in the tip of the ninth costal cartilage in the right hypochondriac region during inspiration, fat intolerance, anorexia, nausea, vomiting, jaundice because of the obstruction of the cystic duct, feeling of fullness and abdominal distension. And it will, you can see the acute cholecystitis is indicated by the pericholecystic fluid indicating the inflammation on the USG. And the surgeon may go for the laparoscopic cholecystectomy or the open cholecystectomy. So that is about the extrahepatic biliary apparatus. Please subscribe and comment and follow the channel. Thank you.